Let us begin. This is the story of the Ghostface. At first glance, Danny Johnson, or better known as Jed Olsen, was a modest freelance journalist who worked with a variety of small newspapers. He zigzagged between several small towns from Utah to Pennsylvania before finally landing at what would most likely be his last place of legitimate employment, the Roseville Gazette. The staff at Roseville didn't think twice about hiring Jed. He was easygoing and honest and talked about good old American values. He had a decent portfolio and a good attitude, and they needed a contributor right away. 5 months into his employment, a string of murders began to pop up around Roseville. Victims, young to old, stabbed to death in their homes. The victims seemed chosen at random, yet the killer knew his way around their houses. Reports stated that the killer also liked to stalk his targets. He would follow them home from a small bar called Walleyes in northern Roseville. He would snap pics of them at home and meticulously study everything about them to eventually find his way in and do the deed. And when the urge was just too strong to ignore, he would pick the most vulnerable victim on his list and sneak his way in. Since the Roseville Gazette covered the Roseville murders, Jed was sent to interview the families and relay official statements from the police. Talk about hiding in plain sight, huh? Jed would leave one more piece for the newspaper called Ghostface Caught on Tape, which showed footage of a hooded figure with a masked face breaking into a house at night. The whole town would lose their shit, and Jed was very proud of his work. A few weeks later, Jed left a note on his desk and hit the road. I hope you liked my stories. I enjoyed bringing them to life. Don't worry, I'm not done, the note read. It took a while for the police to catch on to Jed Olsen and newspaper articles to be released, but he was already long gone. Danny Johnson was now setting up shop in the very hot and humid Florida. He enjoyed reading the article about himself and hung it up on his bedroom wall next to a bunch of dark and morbid things he had collected. And as he stood staring at the article, elated with what he had accomplished, a shiver ran through him. A chilling breeze washed through his swamp-ass-inducing room, turning the humidity into an opaque, freezing fog. A woman shrieked. Dead leaves crunched under his feet. He smiled in anticipation.